another edition of Listen Up a Minute. I'm your host, John Dowl. My co-host, Dr. Rebertha Pope Matthews, won't be with us this evening. I have with me Mr. Virgil Rebertha. Virgil, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, tell the viewers about. We know each other, so you tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Virgil Rebertha. I'm a native of Petersburg, Virginia, and now I live in Chesterfield. But I still do a lot of work in Petersburg voluntarily. And just like I had a program in Petersburg called School Watch, and that was a successful program. And that program, what it was, is monitoring the hallways, the cafeterias, and just chaperone the kids, children, just like when you go on field trips. Also work at nighttime activities. Also, got out the military back in 1980. I went in United States Army. Also, I taught school at Peabody when I left Virginia State University back in 75. From 75 to 76, I taught school down at Peabody. That was a middle school then, but it was a high school when I was in. That's the school I graduated from.
Thank you for your service in the military. When did you get your degree in at Virginia State?
It was in health and physical education.
So you know a lot about how the body works.
Oh, yes, I do. What happened at Virginia State, I got an opportunity to teach. So I was there for 3 years, and I left Virginia State. I taught school for about a year. And that year that I left, then I taught for that year. Then I went in the military. Reason I went in the military, I was taking advantage of the GI Bill. That was the last year that they was giving out the GI Bill for schooling and for to buy houses and stuff. So I just took advantage of that. And from there, I've been still working in the school system. And God has really blessed me, just like I have a degree. But I had 3 years at Virginia State. But then God has really blessed me just to have a gift, just to work with kids.
This book, Visions, Going to the Next Level. Tell us a little bit about the title and what made you write it.
Vision Going to the Next Level. That was about this young man. He went to Petersburg High School, and he had a vision. And he had a vision he wanted to play D1 ball. And in this vision that he had, he said he wanted to play D1 ball and he was going to be successful. And so some things I saw what was happening, when he got to middle school, he wasn't eligible. And that was a rude awakening for him.
Now, when you say eligible, meaning?
He didn't have the right GPA.
Oh.
And you need to have the right GPA in order to participate in any kind of curricular activity. And during that time, the GPA score during that time was a 2.0, and that's a C. But now, this day and time, it's a lot of kids. When I go around and speak, I tell them about the GPA core. GPA numbers have changed. They changed from 2.0, they changed to a 2.3. And the 2.3 is a C now, and a 2.0, that's a D now. So if you're taking core classes and you're saying you're getting a 2.0 in your core class, you need a 2.3.
What are the core classes?
A core class are your mandatory classes that are required for you to take. That's if you want to go to a 4-year school or a D1 school.
So would that be English?
That'll be English is required.
Right.
But if you want to take some advanced courses, just like your AP classes, you can take advanced classes in your histories, in your sciences, in your Englishes.
What about math?
And your math too.
So I guess English, history, government, science, still the required classes to graduate. Those are the basic required classes to graduate.
Exactly.
But now you have to have a 2.3 as opposed to a 2.0.
For a core class.
For core classes.
For a core class. For your core class, you need at least 16 core class
16
hours.
core class hours.
Exactly.
And what about electives?
For electives, you need about at least 5 to 6 electives.
Okay. Now, for someone that wants to go to, as we say, D1, which means Division 1, and what that is simply the school with whatever, say, football program, the size of the student body, essentially. Bigger schools, Division 1, smaller schools, 1 AA, 2, 3, that sort of thing. So the person that wants to go to a Division 1 school, does it matter what kinds of electives they take?
No,
Not
just like
really?
if they
Okay.
have their core classes, if they have the requirements, what the school is looking for.
Okay.
For instance, just like if they have, just like they don't pass all the English, the math, the histories, the sciences,
Nothing else
the
matters.
AT. No, long as they have their required classes. And then for the athlete now, the athlete, this school say they want you for a scholarship, but the athlete have to be cleared by the clearinghouse. Now the clearinghouse, what they do, they go by your GPA core, and they go by when you first begin, and you go by when you first end, and they compile those scores together. And by compiling those scores together, they say, well, for instance, this kid right here, Darcy Whitaker, said he's eligible because he meets all the requirements, our requirements, and the school requirements. That's how he got the scholarship. He met the requirements of clearinghouse and for the school.
So clearinghouses, I guess, is that a board or a group or
Yes,
whomever at that particular
they make-
university?
They make
Okay.
the decisions on university for athletes.
Okay.
You know, for athletes.
Now, Mr. Whitaker, he got accepted, but as we were talking before the show, you said when he first started, he was doing all the prep on the physical side, if you will. What do I need to go to this camp? And what is this school looking for in a defensive back or a linebacker or quarterback or what have you? But you said he found out that he did not have a good enough GPA, and that was a rude awakening for him.
Yes, so once he entered high school, he left middle school, he didn't have the right GPA. And what he had to do, he had to put something together, a plan together. What did he do? He had to go to the library at least 4 times a week. And I put windows together. The windows that I put together was from 5 to 7, from 6 to 8, or from 7 to 9.
So this is something you help him come up with on the academic side. This is what we need to do to get your GPA up.
Exactly.
So what was going on at the library at these different times?
Well, what he was doing, he was strengthening it up in his weaknesses that he had in classes, just like he was catching up on work. If he needed to do some extracurricular, extra work
Correct,
for
okay.
class, he would do that. But he also would just catch up on what he needed to catch up on. And plus, he was also getting tutored in some classes
that was
also.
my next question. So he was also getting some help on whatever
His
was
weaknesses,
weak in.
right?
Ah. He had a plan, but it was on the physical side. So I guess he realized he needed to get better physically, or he had some weaknesses physically, or was this is the guy that, listen, I just love football, and this is what I want to do to make myself better. What did you see?
Well, I saw what he need, what some of the weaknesses that he had. He had to get help in some of his subjects that he was weak in.
Well,
So
I mean, no, on the football side, was it, from what you could see, was it, I recognize I have some weaknesses, or I just love the game and I just want to work on this thing?
Yes, that's what he wanted to do. He said he saw some weaknesses, and so he started working on them. And so once he started working on them, he could saw that he was getting some response from what he was working on. And so when you see you're doing something and it's working, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And so that gives you more energy to keep at it. And so that's what he did until he graduated.
Now, I ask because a lot of people that go to college and play football, basketball, they run track, what have you, a lot of times we find out that academically they just aren't where they need to be. And so this young man, he recognized it, but you said by the time he graduated, he had a full scholarship
Yes.
because of some of the things that you had implemented. You said you put some windows in where he got tutoring, and he was at the library doing extracurricular work or extra credit work, and also just working on his weaknesses. How did you come up with some of these plans?
I saw, what he needed.
Okay.
I saw what he needed because when he was at middle school, his academics was down.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw where he needed to, what he needed to work on. And he also saw too.
Okay.
And something that he really wanted to do. He loved the game football. So he said, if I want to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to strengthen myself in the weaknesses that I have. And so that's what he started doing, strengthening himself. And so it got better because from after that first year, he was on the honor roll until he graduated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honor roll.
He had about a 3.3 to a 3.5.
And these were in his core classes as
Yes.
well as the extracurriculars.
Yes.
Did he take any AP classes called
Yeah.
advanced placement?
He was making A's and B's
Wow.
in those classes.
What was his reaction when he saw that turnaround from going from a D student to an honor roll student?
It just gave him, it just boosted him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it boosted him. And, you know, I'm proud of him just like he's my son, too, because I saw it manifest.
Okay.
You know, I saw where he was when he was in the dark side. Then I saw him advancing, coming on the clear side. And by coming on that clear side, I saw where he was maturing, things that he wanted out of life. And now I'm so proud of him now, he's going to work on his doctrine.
Nice. So, as we were talking earlier, you say he went to Norfolk State 4 years, had 1 more year eligibility left,
Yes,
goes to Virginia State to work on his master's.
yes,
And now he's accepted into their doctoral program, getting an education degree in administration, working on a doctoral in education, rather.
yes. He also was a guidance counselor, too, at Reverend John's.
Oh, wow. So he's teaching now.
No, he was a
guidance
teacher.
counselor.
He's a guidance counselor.
So a person on essentially academic probation, if you will, although they don't have that in middle school, that's essentially what it was, to an honor roll student, to a doctoral student, and while as a guidance counselor.
Yes,
And a lot of it was based on this plan that you put together.
yes.
Wow. Now that's giving back to the community. And have you had a chance to work with anyone else since then?
Yes, right now I'm working with 4 more other kids, students at Petersburg High School.
Okay.
And what I did this past week, I sent out letters to these schools for these students. And next week they'll begin some response next week.
Okay. So I take it the schools are aware that either they were here and that now they're as far as the academics, or have you worked with some that are strong academically already but just want to
These-
get stronger?
These ones that I'm working with now, one of them, 2 of them is a football player. One of them is a basketball player.
Okay.
One of the football players has a 2.8 GPA.
Okay.
The other football player has a GPA of 3.1. The basketball player has a GPA of 3.3.
Which means that some schools will look at them
Yes, what I'm
and will
doing,
be apt to give them a little more money.
and so what I'm doing now, they have the GPA. I'm
Okay.
marketing them right
Okay,
now. So what
okay.
I'm just marketing them right now.
Now, do you also make them aware of the pitfalls that
Oh,
come
yes.
with playing big time athletics? And
Yes.
okay, this is what you need to try to stay away from. This is what you need to do so that when we see your name in the newspaper, when we hear about it on the news, it's not because of what you did that you shouldn't have done. It's because of making an outstanding play or being outstanding in the classroom.
Well, I talk to them just like they my kids.
Okay.
And you know, just like I say, just like when you leave home, cover your name. And by covering your name, just like you don't have to say anything. It's just how you conduct yourself
Right.
out in the media or out in the world. And by conducting yourself, there's a lot of opportunities come with good response. You know how you react outside. And speaking for myself, for instance, just like a lot of people comes to me because I'm soft spoken, I'm a nice person to get along with, and I like to help. And they can see that in me.
Okay.
And some things I can see in people too,
Okay.
you know. And just like this gentleman whom I'm speaking about, I saw a lot of goodness in him. I saw a lot of potential in him. And so that's why, you know, I work with these kids this day and time because they are our future. And we have to be that example for them. And so what I'm trying to be, I'm just trying to be that light, shine for them, and then give them what they need.
Have you had a chance, or have you developed a pipeline with some various universities or schools because of your track record? Have some
Well-
say, Mr. Rebertha,
Well,
I'm looking for a good whatever, fill in the blank. Do you have anybody?
Well, I spoke to some universities and stuff, but I haven't really, went and I spoke to some professors.
Okay.
And they saying they're gonna call me to speak to their classes. But then
Okay.
again, what I've learned by being in the speaking field too, you have to know your connections, who you can talk
Okay.
to in order to get in. And so these are stages that I'm learning right now.
Okay. Okay.
But Bouchard, Franklin Military Academy, Lucille Brown. These some of the schools I have spoken to up in Richmond, and they like the program.
Okay.
And I'm just what I'm trying to do. And I'm just trying to expand right now, but I'm trying to start at home first.
Okay.
Trying to start at home, and because these athletes, we have a lot of good athletes in Petersburg, and a lot of them just don't know how to get to that next level.
Okay.
And so what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to show them that way how to get to that next level.
Do you work with any females?
I haven't worked with any yet.
Okay, but are you open to females?
Yes, I
Okay.
am. Yes, I
Okay.
am.
Now,
And-
I guess for whatever reason, well, girls mature faster than guys. So I would guess that maybe there's some girls who might be stronger academically, maybe not. Or they may or may not know how to market themselves, if you will. But would you use this same approach with them, or would it be a little different simply because it's gender difference, or do you think it's just will work across the board?
It depends on the individual.
Okay.
Where their strongness are and where their weaknesses are. Then I can go from there,
Okay.
And, I could work with anyone. And I could make anybody successful, but they just have to work the program. They have to put the work in also. I have the method, but they have to put work in also. They have to work on their crafts.
The parents, how have they been as far as, well, have they been supportive of you, or
Yes.
they kind of hands off, or what's their reaction?
No, they're enjoying what I'm doing right now
Okay.
because their children, rather I would say they real excited because
Okay.
they see what I'm doing for them, but it's not me, it's who's working through me.
Okay.
They see how I'm helping in a way. And I guess no one had came up and said, well, I'm gonna help your son do this, I'm gonna help your son do that. And then they're excited too, because I was talking to them yesterday. And I said, next week y'all should be getting some, man, you should see them smiles on their face. They should be getting some correspondence by next week.
Have any parents said to you, I'm going to become more involved in my son's day-to-day activities as far as school? In other words, I'm going to be a better parent as far as tracking my son and encouraging my son to do better in school. Has anyone said that to you?
They really haven't said that.
Okay.
They supportive, but they aren't supportive like they should be. And what I've learned and what I've seen since been working with kids, I found if you find out that your kid has a craft, put some money into that craft that the kid have.
Okay.
Because that craft that kid have, that could be something that can bring him out where he's at right now.
Okay.
And we have a lot of gifts in us, but we just have to utilize those gifts that we have in us. Sometimes we just don't know. Then we have to have somebody just to encourage us also. And his father was a really big encouragement to him because he was on the internet looking for camps. And I said, where y'all going this week? We're going to Maryland this week. Where y'all going next week? We're going such and such this week, But going to these camps, and I saw how it was inspiring him because he was getting, his techniques was getting better.
Now you're talking about this is Whitaker going to the various football camps.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I saw his techniques were getting better, and then he was becoming a better person too.
Oh,
I saw all of this. And once I saw that transition in him, it made him a better person also.
Okay.
Because previous when I spoke, said when he was in middle school, he was an angry person. He's fighting a lot, getting expelled. But once he transitioned over to high school, it was a rude awakening to him because he saw what he wanted to do, he couldn't do at the time. But what he had to do, he had to put his plan together if he wanted to do what he wanted to do.
So he recognized that he needed to make some changes.
Yes.
That's remarkable because when we were that age, a lot of times we don't recognize what we have to do, or we may recognize it and we don't know how to do it, or we don't have anyone to help us, or to push us, or to get us in the right direction, and to keep us on track.
But he had a lot of family
Oh,
support.
good.
You know, mother family support, father family support, you know. And then, you know, when you have what I've learned too, when you're working with someone, as long as you have that support, you got that connection. And by having that connection, you're going to do a lot better, you know, because you got that support behind you.
Have you told that to other parents? Say the parents of this group of 8th graders or this group of 10th graders. Have you said to them, listen, I need you all to get behind your sons and your daughters. If you're behind them now, that's good, but get behind them some more. They need your support.
Mm-hmm. I talk all the time like that, you know, to the parents.
Because you said sometimes some parents aren't participating as they should, or the way you
Mhm.
would like to see them do that. Have any,
Stepped up.
or giving you some resistance? Well, I don't have time. I don't get off work until
Yeah,
6,
some
or
of
I
them,
don't go to
some of
work
them have,
until...
yeah, some of them
Okay.
have said that. Yes, some of them have said that. So what I do, what I'm doing now is a camp coming up down in Norfolk
Mhm.
on the 18th of this month.
Football camp?
Yeah, football camp.
Okay.
I was gonna sponsor those two, but I went up to the school yesterday. I was gonna sponsor those two kids, but
Okay.
the school's sending them down there. They going on a van, bus, whatever,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
But those two kids, I'm sponsoring them for, you know, just like they go to different camps and they don't have the money for it. I
Okay.
plan on sponsoring them.
Okay.
And so it's going to be under vision going to the next level. And that's what I plan on doing. And my projections are later on in the future, just like after everything get on board, I plan out within about the next 2 years, my projection is giving out at least 2 scholarships from vision going to the next level. Those are my projections for right now.
Okay. Okay. Again, I want to get back to the parental part. How much easier do you think it would be if you got more support from, or if those children got more support from their parents?
Man, this thing would take off big, man. You know, a lot of people like the program, but it would take off bigger if we had more support. And that's all we need. We need more support. Once you get that support, you have that unity. And once you have that unity, you have a bond right there. And once you get that bond, nothing can stop you.
Is there another book in the works?
Yes, I'm gonna do another book after you know, next year. It'll be starting off next year because I'm doing these kids right here, and they're
Okay.
gonna be in this next book.
Okay.
These kids I'm working with now.
Mr. Rebertha, we're going to wrap up in a minute. If someone wants to get in touch with you about vision going to the next level, what's the best way?
Well, you can contact me on Virgil Revish. That's lowercase Virgil Revish at yahoo.com.
Okay, and Virgil is spelled how?
Lowercase VIRGIL. Revish REV as in Victor ISH at yahoo.com.
Okay. The books, are they online, bookstore, out the trunk of your car? What? If someone wants a book, how can they get one?
You can get them at Amazon.com.
Okay. Any bookstores?
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble. So if they can go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble and get a copy of Vision Going to the Next Level. Again, these steps. With Mr. Whitaker, you say you had a plan. We'll spend time at the library and work on. Okay, we're going to work on what you're behind
Your
on in
weaknesses.
school, and we're going to work on your weaknesses and strengthen those, and go from there. And also, when you're applying, if you know what school you want to go to, know what they require, and then know what your core requirements are to graduate. Because if you don't graduate, I guess nothing else really matters.
Exactly.
And those are just some of the steps, the basic steps.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's nothing wrong with giving back to the community. And that's one of those things of, no child left behind. It's kind of what former President Bush said: no child left behind, or or each one teach one, and you're certainly doing that. You know, whichever title you want to use, you're doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for being happy.
For Reverend Rebertha, I'm John Dowl, and this has been Listen Up with Me.
I pledge to be the change I want to see in my community. Register and vote.
I pledge to vote in all elections, local, state, and national. Vote.
I pledge to always remember people suffered and died for the right to vote. Vote.
I pledge to always remember we, the people, have the power. Vote.
I pledge to always remember to make a change. Vote.
I pledge to remain in school until I graduate. Register and vote.
I pledge to remain a law-abiding citizen and protect my right to vote.
I pledge to always demonstrate respect for myself and others. Vote.
I pledge to get out the vote.
I took the Get Out the Vote pledge. What about you? Vote.
Take the pledge.
Take the power.